really challenge this perception we have developed about how we perceive Africa, especially when we compare Africa to the West.
Yeah.
And traditionally, it's been the conventional thinking, and it is rammed down all our throats that the West is best, the West is best.
Yeah.
But our people seriously looking at the environment now and actually assessing, is this actually true anymore? Because the world has changed. It's really changed. And most of the main economic indicators are pointing that Africa is actually going to be the next major growth region of the world.
Hello, and welcome to the Great Return podcast, a podcast focusing on wealth creation and African development for and by people of African origin, both at home and abroad. Today, we are discussing the role diasporans can play in African development. And for this conversation, we have our very own, again, Ajigawe Chanayere, COO of TGR Africa, aka AG. Welcome, AG.
Thank you for having me.
We are very pleased to have you. Thank you for coming on again for us. So today we are discussing the role diasporans can play in African development. And for the first section of it, I'd like us to look at the opportunity that is available to diasporans to build wealth whilst contributing to African development at the same time. So, Weji, to kick off, I'd like us to look at what diasporans need to understand about the opportunities available to them to build wealth and contribute to African development.
Yeah, so I think the main thing us diasporans need to realize is we need to really challenge this perception we have developed about how we perceive Africa, especially when we compare Africa to the West.
Yeah.
And traditionally, it's been the conventional thinking, and it is rammed down all our throats that the West is best, the West is best.
Yeah.
But our people seriously looking at the environment now and actually assessing, is this actually true anymore? Because the world has changed. It's really changed. And most of the main economic indicators are pointing that Africa is actually going to be the next major growth region of the world. And we are seeing a lot of interest globally in Africa because strategically, I mean, historically, we always know that the colonial masters had an interest in it. But the big change now is that the whole world is turning its attention to Africa.
Yeah.
Because to develop, you need some relationship with Africa. Africa is almost like the foundations to every other region's development. And we diasporans are in a unique position where we can actually tap into that wealth that is going to be created.
Yeah.
I mean, why should we sit and watch foreign investors, multinationals come and make money in Africa, and we're just sat there watching? It makes no sense. And also, one of the things has become very clear to us, especially through the process of writing a book, is just asking ourselves the question, why is Africa not developing? Is it because economically it's difficult to develop Africa and make returns, all that kind of thing? And what has become very clear is there is really a great opportunity that development and making money are not mutually exclusive, that there is actually money to be made in financing development. But the problem is the types of parties who tend to invest in Africa are not Africans. So they are not pursuing a development-led investment approach. There's different type of investment approaches that can be pursued. So we are in a very unique situation where we can't actually make a lot of money in Africa, build wealth, but actually do it in ways that is developing the African economies.
So Africa being a developing economy obviously has a lot of opportunities. That's not disputed. what we are talking about is what, in terms of diasporans, how they need to perceive Africa in terms of investments and doing business. Because obviously, there's still this whole notion of going abroad to make money. But at the same time, we have a lot of foreigners coming here also making money. Now, it is how do we position ourselves, because this is our land. And the only people who can actually have a true interest in the land and make business decisions that are aligned to the sustainability of the land is us, people of African origin. So we do need to take that seriously. But opportunities are there. The whole world is talking about Africa. Are we going to sit down and let other people come with their agenda to develop Africa in the way that suits them more, as opposed to in ways that suits us and especially our local people more, because they are the people who would keep the continent going. They are the people who have already made the continent in a way to what it is today. And we shouldn't forget that. And they have kept, in terms of agric and all that, they have the right ways of farming for the land and all of that. So it is about that decision of who is going to benefit, who is going to own Africa in the long run. And that decision starts from us looking at the opportunities available to us as people of African heritage, but particularly to us as diasporans, because we are the ones who can, if you like, that small section who can actually take responsibility for the development of the land. What are the advantages of doing business and investing in developing economies such as Ghana?
Yeah, so I think it's important we understand the stage of Africa's development and why this is crucial within a context of wealth creation. So our people, us diasporans, need to realize that Africa is in the same economic cycle as the West was during the Industrial Revolution. Those who financed the development of the West, who invested in building up industries, are whom we now say as the families with generational wealth, who are the major asset owners in the Western world. And this is the opportunity diasporans have in Africa, is that we are perfectly poised to be the ones who finance Africa's development. Because like we said, it's going to happen. The question is, what percentage of diaspora capital is infused in that equation? Because Africa has to develop, but for reasons that are not necessarily tied to Africa's interests, which I'm sure we'll go into later. But the key thing is we are in that window of opportunity, especially in the SME sector, because all development is really about empowering your SME sector. And unfortunately, African governments, African financial systems are not structured to support the growth and development of the SME sector. So it's like there's this whole wealth yet to be unleashed, and we can plug that gap. There's just in Ghana, there's a 40-50 billion or so financing gap in the SME sector. We diasporans over the past 10 years, this is not including the African American population. We're talking about diasporans like ourselves who were born here, we've lived abroad, all that kind of thing. Over the past 10 years, we have remitted 25 billion into the economy. So our financial power is there. Now, the idea is that we can direct that capital into the financing and growth and development of the SME sector, and we would be the natural beneficiaries in the long term. And this is the key thing we need to understand, is that we are in Africa's industrial transition area, and this is what really dictates who benefits from a wealth standpoint. And if you're not investing in it, you see, so that's how I think we need to understand. And contextualize what is happening in Africa and why it's so attractive, not just for us, but for the rest of the world, but why we really need to seriously make sure we are playing a major stake. Because again, development is going to take place. But right now, I'm not sure the kind of development that will happen is in alignment with African interests.
Yeah. So essentially, we are saying we need to wake up. We need to wake up and open our minds and our eyes to what is really happening. Whilst we are thinking, as for back home, the things are not, they are not at a good level. If you invest so many this, so many that, you're looking at just the challenges. However, what we are not thinking about is whilst we people of African heritage are looking at just the challenges, a lot of those challenges comes with opportunity. But by not getting involved, we are actually leaving it for other foreign interests to fill that space, make their money, but also to actually own a lot of Africa by default. Because, the challenges are there, but they are still investing. And we are still going out asking them to come and invest.
Yeah, and again, people talk, like you were saying, things are not people are missing the point.
Yes.
That is the risk return profile.
Yes.
The idea is that Africa is developing. Who invests in solving its problems are the ones who benefit from its wealth.
Yes.
In the West, the train system wasn't always like that. There was a whole pioneer. In the US, one of the main figures is Vanderbilt. He was known for pioneering the railway thing. Rockefeller pioneered the energy sector, structuring it, oil, all of that kind of thing. So what I'm saying is, Africa has problems, but the problems in Africa are its greatest wealth creation opportunity. So you wanting to wait until some apparent condition is solved, it's a self-defeating concept. Because our economy is based on people solving problems and being rewarded for it financially for doing so. So you should embrace Africa's problems. And right now, the conversation we should be having is how can we build the investment ecosystem? How can we build the infrastructure to facilitate diaspora investment? Because all these other parties, they already know how to do these things.
Yes.
We're speaking to the average diaspora, and we're not talking about sophisticated investors. We're talking about the average diaspora.
Yeah.
And what we're saying is that individually, we don't have the sophistication to do these kinds of things.
Yeah.
So the conversation should be about how can we come together to build the infrastructure to facilitate our investment, because sovereign wealth funds, private equity, all these multilateral institutions, they have that sophistication built in place. But it's our responsibility to build that.
Yes.
And then we will be poised to facilitate that. So it's not a question of whether we should be investing and waiting for some opportune moment. No, it's now, because the problems are still plenty.
Yes. And again, to emphasize on it, if we're waiting for the problems to be solved, at that point, we can't even get in the game. It will be too expensive. If we're waiting for the problem to be solved, what we are not understanding is that person who solves that problem takes away the wealth. Simple as. If they come and solve the problem, they own the assets that they've put into place within Africa. And again, we're losing out. And then, apart from that, whatever they are actually making is also not staying on the continent. It is going to wherever they are coming from, supporting that. But then it also gives them a leg into the market already. And now if you wait 10 whatever years so that infrastructure will be in place, when you come, you haven't got a leg in the market if they're already taking it all. And these are the things that we need to have clarity on. Problems equates opportunity. Now, who is going to be in charge of taking charge of the problems? They are going to be the ones reaping the opportunity, getting the rewards of that opportunity, because they've put in the investment, the time, and we can't blame them. This is not about that. This is about getting our people to wake up to the fact that, hey, if you don't put the work in, don't expect any rewards.
Yeah.
And you will expect to be on your land serving somebody else.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. So with what we are talking about, is there a timeline for diasporans to actually make serious investments on the continent?
Oh, yes. I would say these next 10 years are crucial. And the important thing us diasporans need to realize is, even those of us who are coming here and we want to do the remote worker thing and enjoy the fact that we are earning our pounds and our dollars and we can live
Very comfortable
a comfortable lifestyle here, what you have to understand is the currency disparity that we can currently benefit from is not a fixed thing. In fact, the trend is that the dollar is going to weaken. Look at just recently with the city. That's just the start.
Yeah.
But across Africa, your dollars, your pounds are not going to mean that much anymore, because we forget that the value of a currency comes from the strength of an economy. But the West is entered its decline. All economies go through their cycles. We are seeing the rise of the BRICS whilst that coincides with the fall of the West. This is why America is adopting a protectionist economic policy, because they're trying to stop money leaving.
Yes.
And they're trying to get as much money coming as possible. The same people who pioneered free market, globalization, now they are doing protectionism. Why?
Because then it was in their interest, and now it is in their interest again. This is the world. I mean, economics, like you often say, is warfare.
Yes.
And this is how they made the money, and they want to continue making the money. And we need to understand the power play here, and therefore, what are we doing about it?
Yeah.
How are we picking our side? How are we making sure that we are protecting Africa and its development and African wealth, if you like? I
mean, another aspect about why these next 10 years are crucial is because Africa is getting expensive. Right now, your money can stretch in Africa. If you have 10,000, you can actually invest in a mid-size agribusiness that can yield, decent returns.
Something good, yeah.
But we forget that asset prices are also going to increase. Yeah. So the perfect way our people should understand timing is, right now, the S&P 500 is at an all-time high. In fact, the market has become expensive and it's overvalued. And the market price is being driven by 4 or 7 main companies: NVIDIA, Tesla, OpenAI, these types of companies.
Yeah.
Now, if you currently wanted to go and purchase shares in NVIDIA, it's trading at a PE ratio that is almost like 50 times its earnings.
Yeah.
So now it's not the time to invest in NVIDIA.
No.
It's 10 years ago. And it's the same equation with Africa. So on multiple levels, if you want to be able to comfortably live in Africa, you need to know that you need to be investing in Africa, because Africa is getting more expensive, because it's not just us that are coming back. Like I said, we live in a globalized world. The West, people are migrating out to the West. Non-African Westerners are migrating out to the West. In the UK, I know the favorite destination at the moment is the UAE. Because of tax advantages and all that kind of thing. Yeah. But Africa is coming into the conversation. Look at the recent G20 summit. Africa is very much on people's radar.
Yeah.
So this influx of different kind of non-Africans coming in, it's all going to drive the asset prices. Look at how real estate is exponentially growing. What's driving that? It's not just us diasporans. So if you're not serious about and understand that the timing is actually crucial, your money is not going to travel in the next 10 years. Especially if all you're doing is direct conversions. You're not coming in with real thing. You're just trying to leverage the currency disparity. The city is trading at right now, what is it, like 10 cedis to dollar, something like
about
something like that. You see, now how many diasporans can enjoy a life here in Ghana if it increased by 50%? So this is just about just living. Now think about, you want to build wealth here.
Yes.
The businesses that are generating the businesses that will become the most valuable assets 10 years from now people are investing in them now, and you're not.
And you're not, yes.
That's the key thing you have to.
I actually think if, as at now, you're not already thinking about investment and doing business on the continent, you're probably getting too late. And I think between now and the next 5 years, you should seriously be considering what it is you're going to do and how you're going to do it. Be just investments, alone, where you're not physically on the continent, or even businesses where you are on the continent. Within the next 5 years, that thing should be started, and investments you can do straight away. There are loads of opportunities around to do that. But for you to actually build a business, by now you should already be in the process, in the game. And 5 years from now, you should already have started and make it, because it takes time, especially businesses. It takes time.
Yes.
So you need that time. And then in the next 5 years, by the time you get to 10 years, you should be one of the established ones, because then it's not to say that there's still not opportunities. It's just that the pioneers would have taken the most of it.
Most of it.
And what we are saying we shouldn't forget is the fact that we want those pioneers to be us, people like us.
Yes.
People who look like us, people who have a connection to the continent. Because at the minute, the bigger investment is being driven by foreign parties. And this doesn't bode well for Africa, because yes, it's still money and it's good, it's investments and all that, but there's investment and there's investment. There's development and there's development. So we are the ones that can make the right choices, if you like, for the continent. And for us, even for our people who have found themselves abroad and they think they're good, life is good, they are making good money and all of that, you need to think about the fact that you represent everybody who looks like you. At the moment, across the world, we know the amount of discrimination that is going on. Until we can make people who look like us be respected, we're already losing the game. But worst of all will be if we don't actually have clarity of mind and purpose, so we can put our continent also on the map the right way, where if you go anywhere else, all other continents, it is a majority of people who are there who own these things. They own a lot of the assets there. You come here and it's a reverse. So another 10 years from now, and now development is going to be exponential. And who are the ones going to put the money in? If we don't push for our people to put money in, it will be the same parties, because they know what they are making from the land. Yeah. And then the narrative changes. We would be here serving other people, like I've already said, and we shouldn't let that happen. The continent will be developed in a way that is not good for us. It's not sustainable. It hasn't got our values at heart. It will be a totally different place to what it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in light of everything that we have said, we've talked, we do believe that diasporans have a fundamental role in shaping the future of Africa. We've already touched on a number of those things. Do we want to specifically expand on that? The role that diasporans have in shaping the future of Africa?
Yeah, I mean, simply put, investment equates to development. Development is an abstract concept. We always say African development, but I never really hear anyone, it's not just within the diaspora community, locally, governments, like, what do you mean by it? Because development can take all kind of different pathways. Mm-hmm. So what we are saying is, our investment gives us a stake and a voice in what Africa is going to be shaped into. Mm-hmm. So, and if we are not a major investor in Africa, mm-hmm. those who are the major investors will shape Africa's development.
Absolutely.
And they are not going to shape Africa's development in a way that actually empowers Africans.
No.
I'm not saying they have nefarious goals.
No.
Not at all. It's just there's different investment strategies you can pursue on the continent. Development is one. But if I'm a Chinese, why am I coming to Africa to develop it for?
Yeah.
Don't the Chinese have problems?
Exactly.
Just because they are a big economy now, China has all sorts of problems.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Most of their citizens are not that far away from peasants. You see, so what China's meant to come here? No, China's got.
Because it's got what? It's got so much heart that it doesn't have the heart to spread it on its own people, but it has a heart to come and spread it on us.
And this is the interesting thing. So a lot of African Americans have fallen in love with Africa since the year of return and are piling here. They are relocating, all these kinds of things. Originally, I did think a lot of it was driven by the opportunities we're discussing. But it turns out that most African Americans are here basically escaping from their experience there. But I don't think the African American portion of the African diaspora has considered that what you're running from, they are also coming here because Africa is now become extremely attractive.
Yes.
Like more than even in colonial times. And economics is power.
Yes.
So whatever you think you're running away from, if you don't invest in Africa, let's put away the financial component.
Yes.
A lot of you guys are coming here for emotional reasons.
Yeah.
The level of safety and security you feel here, that's not a given. And the trend of where Africa is going is people who don't look like you are also thinking about coming to live here.
Yes.
And they are the major investors already. So what do you think how do you think that's going to impact on socio-economically, politically? You see, look at how in Britain, look in Europe, the massive pushback with all the immigration that's taking place.
Absolutely.
So what do you think is going to happen? So what do you think is going to happen in Africa? You're leaving there because you've experienced institutional racism, all these kind of things, and you assume you come here and it's just everyone looks like me. No, Africa is for sale. And different people are buying up Africa. So we don't just talk about African development from a wealth like you can make money. No, this is a serious situation.
Yes.
It's about what kind of environment do you want to live in.
Yeah.
And me, I'm tired of going to someone else's part of the world and asking them to make me feel comfortable.
Exactly.
I'm from Ghana.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You see, so put away.
Any person of African origin should feel comfortable coming home.
Yeah.
And when you come home, what makes you feel comfortable? If things are right, but if you come and what you are escaping from
It's coming here.
is coming here, and because we are not having that foresight and we are not planning, we just allow it to happen. Then we are doomed, really, because then there's nowhere to go. Because I mean, you can't go back. The West is where it is even worse. But if they come and control here, and then they turn this into a mini version of that, so where is our home now?
Yeah.
So we need to have that in mind, so that this is why we keep talking. This is a clarity that I keep saying. We need to have clarity about what is really happening on the ground, and therefore, what are we going to, all of us, what are we doing about it to ensure better development, but also to give people like us an opportunity to actually make money, because the more of us that make money, then we are putting both the continent and ourselves on the map. And in time, you don't go anywhere for people to look at you and equate you to no, you are the laborer, or you are the cleaner here, or all of that is important. Do we need a diaspora vision for Africa? And if so, what should that be? With all that we've talked about, do we think we actually need a collective vision that will help us in the goal of where we are going? And if so, how should that look like?
Yeah, so development as a word means nothing.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what African leaders mean by they're trying to develop. Like, I just hear it, but what does it mean?
What do they actually mean?
So we need to if we understand that we can play a role and shape development, then the next question is, what do we want to develop Africa in?
Into.
And this is why I'm so passionate about mobilizing us diasporans on a collective economic level, because we are perfectly poised to actually help shape quite an extraordinary African civilization.
Yeah.
Because the interesting thing I've noticed is, since being back, there's a lot of things about how we live, how we structure ourselves. And I'm like, oh, this is nice. This is actually a luxury here.
Yeah.
In the West,
You don't get that.
you don't get these things.
Yeah.
Like I said, a simple example, the mental health thing. In the West, it's apparently a crisis. 1 in 4 people suffer all kind of weird psychological problems. Everyone's on pills.
Yes.
Here in Africa, the poorest person you see, they are happy, laughing, they are dancing.
No, yeah.
That doesn't just happen. That's because it's part of how we see the world. It's our philosophy. It comes from ancient times.
Yes.
You see, so we are perfectly poised to be the filtration, to decide what we allow to influence Africa and what doesn't influence Africa. Because we always fail to remember that the West itself was an experiment. This modern capitalist, economic, whatever, democracy, these are all very new concepts.
Yeah.
That's where really started, 500 years ago. And we fail to realize that with every experiment, you don't know the unintended consequences. Right now, the West is experiencing all kinds of problems that it didn't foresee.
Yeah.
You see, like, for example, the spiritual aspect. The West decided to say, don't believe in anything beyond the physical world. Now look at what it's led to. And unfortunately, again, if we don't steer development, right now, the local African wants to just implement everything in the West.
Yeah.
So even when African leaders speak about development, they just mean mimicking the West.
Yeah.
Look at our educational system. They've just gone and copied the West, but we don't need this type of educational system.
No, we could have better.
Yeah.
And this is what we are saying, that we diasporans, we are very lucky in where we find ourselves.
Yeah.
Therefore, we need to think, because we are lucky in where we find ourselves, we have a responsibility as well. We need to be able to take our knowledge from our African knowledge, our knowledge from our travels, our knowledge from, let's say, even if you were born in the West, you still can learn and know about Africa, the West, the different ways that we do things and what it has led to, even the educational system. We should be able to easily learn for ourselves. And we need to keep learning, opening our minds and our eyes. Look into these things, the educational system, what is really needed. We shouldn't just copy somebody's educational system. Lucky for us, they've done it. They've had all the issues. They've even had years for consequences to set in. So now we can sit back and evaluate and see what is happening. And then we can take the good from there, the good from here, do things to make sure that whatever we adopt, we are eliminating some of the things that have then ended in problems for them, and just come up. Because like you are saying, a lot of their systems were people made. Everything we have in the world is people made. So we can have our own educational system. We can have our own political and governmental structures and all of that. We can decide how we want things doing.
It's like, this is why I respect the Chinese, because in the 80s, that time period, the West was on a big drive to convince all developing countries to liberalize their economies, adopt free market principles. Bear in mind that that's not the same thing they did when they were developing.
Yes.
Anyway, China was very communist, and geopolitically, the US realized that if we prop up China, and if we help convert China into a capitalist type Western thing, it would provide as a shield against Russia's influence in that region. Now, so the Chinese, they basically pretended to the West that, we would
we'll do that.
but they only took the parts they liked and they did their own thing. So there was quite a big sort of, in the economics world, there was a whole thing, and because everyone was looking at China. It's not just China, but South Korea did the same, and there's another country. It escapes my mind, but they basically all pretended they were going to westernize, do this, da, but they had a clear sense of vision. They knew what they were like. China, they know their history.
Yes.
You see, so everyone was kind of looking and going, these guys, they are developing, but they are not following free market principles, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the IMF and the World Bank, they had to justify why they are growing, and it was an issue. So they did an entire study. It was called the East Asia Miracle.
Okay.
And it was very clear that their policies don't agree with, because it never was. But I'm just using this as an example that other developing countries, they don't admire the West and think the West is best. No, they get it.
Yes.
So they only pick what they like. But this is not what's happening in Africa.
No.
It's not just our leaders that are just in awe of the West. The average African is also in awe of the West. And then the worst part is us diasporans who have been exposed to that know that it's not all is cracked up to be. We still actually believe, despite its issues, it's better than our home.
Yes. Yeah. Which is even perpetuating the situation. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So if diasporans don't play a role in African development, what do we think will be the consequences?
Yeah, I think we've highlighted some of them, but even on a selfish level, again, going back to the diasporans who think they're coming here and they'll live nice and comfortably and they've got their dollars, all those kinds of things. What I'm saying is, you're not the only one interested in Africa.
Yeah.
And you're not even making major moves here. You're generally like operating as an extended tourist, basically. The people who are coming here, they too are coming, but they're not coming here because they like the nice weather too. Their money travels too as well.
Yeah.
But they are here to make some serious money, and they are trying to relocate too. Because in the West is more globalized in its mindset. People are not nationalistic in the West anymore. So they look at the world as a whole.
Yes.
At the moment, the popular destinations is Asia, is the South America. But it's becoming very clear that they are coming to Africa too. Not just for business, not just for investment reasons, but to also live here. Now, at the end of the day, they would have a vision for Africa. A lot of you are coming here to escape the way societies function in the West. What do you think is going to happen here?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, whoever owns the major assets of an economy dictates its policy.
Yes.
It's just a simple thing as that. So I'm sorry, but there's nothing to run away from. So if you're coming to Ghana, if you're coming to Africa, even if you think you're just here to retire, you're connecting with your African heritage, all of that is great, but all of that is actually at risk.
Yes.
Because this is what is happening in Africa.
Yeah.
That's on a selfish level what we need to consider. In general, the consequences is, again, are we just going to watch and let our homeland? So what? As a black person, do I not have a home anywhere?
Exactly.
Because like I said, investment is also development. And right now, the pictures being painted, I don't see people who look like me that is painting a picture for Africa.
Yeah.
So I've come from the UK. I'm now coming to live in Ghana for all these reasons. Number one, it's my home. So now even in my home, I'm not even in control of my own place.
Yeah.
That's on a simple level. You see, and so me, I'm thinking about the future, and I'm thinking about, I'm going to have a family, kids and that. What am I meant to tell them about themselves? How are they meant to feel about being African? Because the consequences of us not playing this role is that we are just going to turn Africa into basically what the West is with the same socio-economic class structure where we, the Africans, are not even the ones ruling Africa or dictating Africa.
Yeah. No, so in simple terms, if we don't invest in Africa, we lose the power to dictate what happens in Africa.
Yeah.
Therefore, we don't have a home anymore. We will be working in Africa in servitude.
Basically.
We'll be serving foreign powers and foreign individuals. And sometimes it's easy. It's like, we talk all this and all that, But those are the realities. And a lot of these things are happening so subtly. You know, people sometimes...
That's the thing, yes. People don't see it because it's not on the news.
Yeah, exactly.
You see, but it's happening.
It's happening.
And it doesn't take long. You live here a few months, you start noticing patterns.
Yes, you have to see it. It's just like everything, even in the West. What news do they give of Africa? It's poverty. It's the picture that is being painted it deceives your mind. But even in Africa itself, still, we are not really caught onto this propaganda thing. So even within Africa, the news, that the actual truth that should be coming out is not coming out. Like there's a lot of big chunks of land that is being owned, bought up, being owned by foreigners. You don't really hear that news anywhere. Yeah, even you living here, you don't hear it.
You don't hear it.
Sometimes you travel to a remote place, and it's like a huge chunk of
it's being bought some randomer. You don't know. You see, and why is this happening? Because again, why is the world really turning its attention to Africa? Because the world population is also growing.
Yes.
All the main regions in the world, their agricultural output has been maximized. So who's going to feed the world? Exactly. That's what's driving this. And Africa is now left. Yes. We are the only part that has the arable land. So big international money is just land purchasing. It's not about building anything. Exactly. It's buying land. You a diasporan, you're 5,000, you can buy something. Imagine a 10-year strategic period. You didn't do anything. You just bought land as your investment strategy. 10 years from now, do you know how valuable that will be?
Exactly.
Why is Wall Street buying up land in Africa?
Yes. But that's the point. Why are we letting this happen? We are letting it happen by inactivity, basically. We are letting it happen because we are not doing anything
about it.
We should be doing something. And this is why we feel it necessary to have the conversation, to say to people, look, people like us need to be doing this. This is our responsibility. And if we check our responsibility, then somebody else will do it.
And they will benefit from it. So it's no conversation. We don't need more diaspora events. We all sit. We meet up at dinner tables.
So much.
I think we are getting confused that talking does not impact the life in any meaningful way. If you talk, all you're doing is making yourself feel good. But we need operators. You need action. We don't need to sit at another summit or invest in Africa and they'll tell you about the agri sector, tech. Yes, great. But it's just talking.
Yes.
Everyone's just talking. You go everywhere, everyone is just talking. Whilst everyone else, when was the last time you heard of Arab Africa Summit where they're telling you about what they're doing? No, they're not, but they're doing it.
Yeah.
Did you hear on the news that, Dubai has announced that it's going to set up a sovereign wealth fund, or this has come here to know why, but they are doing it. Yes. But us, yes. You speak to any diasporan there, you think this person is like super into development, like they're talking this. Let's set up WhatsApp groups and da. But everyone's just talking.
People don't see through and they think, but this is a point we're making. It's not a joke. It is important because if we keep giving ourselves excuses because things are not right, in the meantime, the foreigners are doing it. So don't, we should understand this vision.
Yeah, we're not a victim. That's we're not a victim. Yeah. It's very clear what we can do.
Yes.
It makes sense.
Exactly.
And it's a matter of, okay, how do we come together? How do we mobilize?
Yes.
How do we build the infrastructure we need to facilitate all these things? That's the only conversation that should be had.
Yeah.
I don't need another event telling me that, I can go into agri, tech, real estate, whatever.
Exactly.
I don't need more talking about all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Who can we go to? Who is actually trying, like who's doing stuff?
Yes. Yeah.
You see, and this is a coordinated effort. TG Africa, we don't have all the answers.
No.
You see, it's a coordinated effort. So yes, we need action, not talking.
Yeah.
Because
We've talked enough.
We've talked enough.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay, so In this second section, we're going to look at what Africa is going to be in the next 50 years. How is it going to look like? And also, who is going to be the power, who is going to own the assets? How is that going to impact the local people on the ground, basically? So what we keep hearing is that Africa is the next major growth region in the world, and we keep hearing this all over the place. Now, I'd like us to explore what the macroeconomic indicators are that is supporting this sort of view that Africa is definitely the next growth region in the world.
Yeah, so it's very important we understand why Africa is becoming extremely attractive to pretty much everyone in the world.
Yeah.
We did an episode about the youth. Mm-hmm. And for any investor, population growth and population demographics is a major indicator to drive how capital is allocated. Mm-hmm. Because when you have a young population, it means you have a mobile and a working population.
Yeah.
The positive thing, although the educational system isn't where it can be, we are having skilled labor being produced.
Okay.
And also the youth are growing. Like they're a big percentage of Africa and they are growing. So it means that as a consumer base, there is a market to sell stuff to. So from an investor standpoint internationally, this is very attractive.
Yeah.
The youth equation. The other positive aspect is that we are seeing per capita income increase. We're seeing, which is leading to a growth of a middle class.
Okay.
Because even the little industrialization we are seeing, it's already producing and growing a middle class.
Okay.
Why is that beneficial? It means that if I'm a multinational corporation, if I'm private equity, if I'm this, again, I have people to sell to.
Yes.
Secondly, we're seeing the establishment of the world's biggest single market. If the African free trade zone is really done properly. Again, it means that if I'm an international investor, I don't have to go through all the red tape of multiple discs.
Yes.
One policy, boom.
You're done.
I have access to the world's biggest market. Also, we always talk about natural resources. That has always been an attraction for Africa. But now it's even more attractive because the future economy of the West is dependent on a lot of the resources that Africa. Right now, China and the US are basically in an AI race. It's kind of similar to the nuclear race with with Russia and the US.
Yeah.
Now it's the AI race because who wins that?
Yeah.
The geopolitical is severe.
Yeah.
But a lot of the key materials they need is in Africa.
Yeah.
So Africa is necessary to the future economy that we are entering into just for the world.
Yeah.
So that means that now countries have to really fight to control Africa. You see, that's another major indicator that we're seeing is that the resources of Africa have become even more attractive.
Yeah.
But they were attractive before, but now they're even more attractive. You see, so these are some of like the really important indicators. Another major indicator is not even what's going on in Africa, is the geopolitical environment and the shift in power. The rise of the BRICS is coinciding with the slow decline of the West. And strategically, this is positioning Africa to become even more important for the BRIC nations. So these are some of the factors why the indicators are pointing to Africa really being that next major growth region of the world. It's not because, the West of the world has all of a sudden found some deep altruism to... No, it's because now, like, pretty much everyone needs Africa.
So we are saying sort of population growth in Africa, which mainly is pushing high youth population. So the African continent has like a big youth population.
Yeah,
That
I
is
don't know. It's like 60% plus.
it's huge. Yes, it's huge. But so that actually supports both the markets having a big market, Africa becoming a big market,
Consumer base.
and also the labor force. That is also increasing the labor force. And then we have resources where now it's become critical to AI, and it's also become critical, even critical to a lot of manufacturing.
Exactly.
cars,
AI, automation, and
exactly.
even put that aside, just arable land.
And arable land. That is a
equation as
major
well.
piece in its own. So with all of that, it puts Africa in a great position. But what we are saying is that's all going to happen regardless. But we people that look like us have to look at this with clear vision, with clarity, because what it means is whoever gets in and is controlling, is investing and controlling, become the owners.
Yes.
So again, if we people that look like us are not doing that, then we are really losing our, we will end up in servitude again. That's all it is.
Which would be
it would be a
really
terrible
big shame.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't get me wrong. Some of us will do well because we are investing, but what we're talking about is impact.
Exactly.
It's not about,
and it's the numbers.
It's not about our family and some of the people within our networks. We're talking about impact.
Everybody.
You see, and at that scale, definitely we need to really come together.
We do. And to elevate us all as a whole.
We are actually, this is what really confused, I'll speak for myself, and confused me, because even the people who influence our book, we sort of thought, everyone's like on this way.
We are on the same wavelength.
And all that kind of, you actually speak to people and you're like,
realize it's not quite that, but anyway. So the next part is, what are some of the biggest trends we are going to see in Africa in the next 50 years?
Yeah, so the one I don't think people are even paying attention to is that it's not just diasporans coming to Africa. It's also, in general, Westerners, because they know that their economies are declining. Their wages are stagnating. Inflation is high. Debt is high. And everyone's looking, and also the value of human labor is decreasing. So they too are like, well, here's not even really the thing.
Place for us,
You see,
we won't be needed.
Yeah, so we don't realize, but they are also thinking of Africa as a spot. Another major trend, like we said, is that a positive development is we're going to see the African region expand in terms of a bigger market.
Yeah.
You see, one of the problems in the past that made it difficult to make money here was that a lot of African countries are really small, so it's hard to really scale in one country.
Yeah.
And it affects some businesses' business model, because if you can't sell at a certain scale, you can't be competitive enough to all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing, so now we all have access to a global market. When you think about who I'm selling to and you start a business in Africa, it's not just what a country you're in, it's the free trade zone.
Yes.
Another major trend, like I said, is we're going to see Africa become strategically more valuable to the BRIC nations, because they are no longer going to be able to depend on the US and the West as consumer markets. So we're going to see strategically that the BRIC nations are going to be heavily here in Africa. So these are some of the key things that are going to happen over the next 50 years.
Yeah.
What is really worrying, which I don't have answers to, and I don't know what will shape, is like, I don't know if all this will be positive for the average African.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
First of all, as a diasporan, yes, individually I can position myself, but collectively as diasporans, I don't know if we're going to benefit from all that we've just said. Then locally too, I don't really think I don't think people know that foreign direct investment, yes, again, governments make us believe foreign direct investment.
Yeah.
But foreign direct investment is like using the term development. It doesn't mean anything. And this is why I respect Chinese. Because when they, first of all, China didn't even really develop using international capital. They used domestic capital. They they created a savings culture and they mobilized domestic capital. But even when they invited foreign investment, it was structured. It was designed in a way to make sure that when this person comes into my economy, they are going to leave me their technology.
Okay, yes.
They're going to leave me my technology. They will have to train and develop my local population, because my goal is so that I don't need them anymore. That's my point.
Yes.
It's not so you come in and you're perpetual.
Yes.
So in the meantime, whilst it makes sense for you and it makes sense for us, but the idea is FDI is meant to, when done properly, is supposed to create a scenario where you can leverage on the strengths of a different economies.
Yes.
To set yourself up in a position where you no longer need to be dependent on them.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. We're just like, it's for sale.
Yes.
Who has the highest price?
Yes.
You want our gold? Okay, you can have it. You want that's all we're doing. And that's the worrying aspect is I feel like if we diasporans don't step in and adopt a development-led investment approach, we're going to see more economic enclaves. And all an economic enclave is that I can come and invest in your country, but it can be structured in a way where the money, beyond the government getting its concessionary cut, and a few local actors who may be providing some local content,
Yes.
all the wealth that is being generated it's like it has no connection to the real economy at all.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's what we're saying. Nigeria, why can't they power their place? Because their oil sector is an economic enclave. In Ghana, the average Ghanaian does not even eat cocoa or chocolate. Why? Because our cocoa sector is an economic enclave. So this FDI thing, it's setting up economic enclaves which have no connection to the real economies.
Yeah.
Because our governments are not making it policy that, because they don't have the leveraging power. They need to borrow money from them. What are you going to tell the Chinese? Oh, please make sure you set up apprenticeship programs to
No.
you see.
Yeah.
So that's another potential major trend that is a worrying thing as well. That we need to consider. Yeah.
Yeah. So all in all, it's still back to the same point about there's going to be the growth regardless. Let us make sure we are in. We are the ones moving that growth. We are the ones, making it happen, and therefore we will be the ones to benefit as a people. Some say that the rise of Africa in some ways would coincide with the fall of the West. I mean, we've already talked about the BRIC nations and the rise in the BRICS sort of, and the slow decline in the West. But for Africa, what do we think in that view that the rise in Africa is going to coincide with the fall of the West?
Yeah. So again, for whatever reason, even people from the West, non-Africans living in the West, they know their nations are on the decline. That's why they're leaving.
Yeah.
Apparently, for us, we still think it's a paradise.
Yeah.
But what's basically happened in the West is it's reached its level of economic maturity. So it's just a cycle. It's the same way empires rise and they fall.
Yeah.
In its decline, the main problem the West, the mistake they made is they financialized their economies. Ever since they shipped all their jobs to China and all these places, the only way they generated GDP was basically by printing money, making access to debt very accessible.
Yeah.
And we created a financialized society where it's just money propping up money, inflating asset prices, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And all of it was financed mainly through debt at the government level, the private level,
Yeah.
and all of that. And then at the business level. So everyone, like the thing about debt is you can push it in the future as much as possible, but there comes a time when you have to. So the West is no longer going to be a major consumer base. That because at the moment, all developing countries go, let's sell to them. They like stuff and they have money. But what happens when the West no longer has money? Because everyone's paying off debts.
Exactly.
And I'm not speaking hypothetically. I'm saying this is already in motion.
Yeah.
Trump's policies are simply designed to, hold back the inevitable. It's a matter of it's a time thing. It's not a.
Yeah.
So if the West is no longer a consumer base for the BRIC nations, how are they going to continue their development? They will have to focus on internal consumption because they actually have the same size market as America. They have billions people.
Yeah.
But the problem is their economies were designed to be export oriented. But if the West is not going to be able to buy as much stuff, then they will have to focus on that domestic consumption. And the only way they can make the domestic consumption increase in their local economies is by making the cost of goods and services cheaper for the average person. And the only way they can do that is if they produce their stuff in Africa.
Okay.
Because they still have the currency edge. The same way the West had the currency edge with China and all those type of people. So a lot of the industrialization that would take, and they said it in the G20 summit, they said that from now going, I'm just paraphrasing.
Yes.
They're not going to just extract resources. They're going to make everything in Africa because they know this. They know they have to sell to their people.
Yeah.
Because if they make stuff in their place, it's too expensive. Even China and Asia,
of course,
they're getting too expensive now, even for the rest of the world, because China has to artificially manipulate its currency to maintain its global competitiveness.
But there's only so long you can do that, which you've already.
So we say that this coincides with the rise of Africa because it will force the BRICS to industrialize Africa. That's the main thing. So this is not because of this is just a byproduct of the changing global
shifts
structure.
Yeah.
That is the main thing. So actually, yes, it means that Africa is poised in a way to be like a factory to these BRIC nations.
Yeah.
But it gives us a lot of leverage.
Yes.
Because now we can actually dictate terms with these BRIC nations.
But then that's the point, that we need to understand that gives us the leverage. Because if you don't, then you let them still dictate the terms. And that is where, if you are not careful, we won't protect ourselves. And then we'll just become run over and taken up, consumed.
And this is what I'm trying to let our people understand is, how are you preparing for the collapse of the West? Because it's not a matter of if, it's just a when thing. This is not a theoretical thing.
And whether they are even seeing it.
So sometimes I ask myself, like, I don't even see it as a choice. Because why would I want to be somewhere if it's on the decline?
Exactly.
What is the major... So we forget that the pound used to be the world reserve currency. We forget that.
Of course.
And then America took over. So what do we think is going to happen when America is not... Because recently, Saudi Arabia, for the first time ever, accepted payment of oil, not in dollars, but in Chinese currency. Do we understand what
that means? Exactly.
So your dollars, this is what I'm saying, like your dollars and your pounds are not going to mean much in 10 years. Like you can't even, you coming back to Africa will feel like you just staying where you are.
Yeah.
Because you're
if we don't do something. Yes. Right. So it's clear that most parts of the future in most parts for Africa is looking promising, at least economically, because of all we've talked about. However, will this improved economic future be evenly distributed to everybody in Africa, that is locally? Do you think this better future is going to be better for everyone?
Yeah, so unfortunately, going back to the economic enclave scenario and with foreign direct investment, is people don't realize you can have extraordinary GDP. does not mean that it translates to the real and local. No.
Yeah.
And we talked about a vision for Africa. Can us diasporans have a vision for Africa? And one of the things I really think we have a great opportunity to do is build a diamond society.
Okay.
We've only ever seen a pyramid structure. And in a pyramid structure, ultimately, it's about resource concentration and yes,
And
in
wealth concentration.
Like that's not a byproduct. That's by design. Capitalism is like a game. We all say, all of us together, we're going to play this game. It's winner takes all, basically.
Exactly.
You are on your own. How you make it, don't really care.
Yeah.
But it's a winner takes all game.
Exactly.
So the idea is, yes, we are building a pyramid because we want to have, if you are winner takes all, yes, you get to rule.
Yeah.
You see, because money is equated to power in this modern world.
Yeah.
And we need to realize that that whole scenario also is taking place in Africa. And we can choose to develop economic policies and choose a different type of economic system. Because again, why do we always think it's either capitalism or communism?
Yeah.
In fact, in China, nobody knows what they practice.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like that because apparently they're communists, but they look capitalist, but then they like what?
It's been really like murky.
Yeah, but the good thing is that they design an economic system that makes sense for what they're trying to do. They don't just go, the West and the IMF told us that we need to liberalize our financial markets, adopt monetarist policies with our central bank, all these kind of, they go
ahead and
they go, what's our agenda? Cool. What kind of system do we need? How can we make it work? And we go from that.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is that a pyramid system is not it just happens. It's a system. But we can build a system that is a diamond, because a diamond, it means that there's only a small percentage of people at the bottom that are what you call poor. Yeah. But there's also a very small percentage of people at the top that are very wealthy. But the main bulk is that everyone's all right.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
And we can build that. But not if we do this capitalist thing and we just replicate it and all that kind of thing. But again, everyone who's investing in Africa is not going to have these conversations because it's not their problem.
It's no. But this is why we are having the conversations, is to start encouraging our people to have these conversations along these lines. Because the issue, like we say, is there's too much propaganda, and all we see is actually trying to defeat us. Without even realize, a lot of people don't question themselves in what they buy, in what they eat, in what clothes they wear, in which bank they bank with. They don't question themselves in any of this. So this is why it's important for us to start these conversations and to keep them going, just to make our people think in a different way. Think about us first. Think about what we need to be doing.
Yeah, and then the final thing I just want to add about the consequences if we don't is whether diasporans want to accept it or not. We live in an economic system, and at the end of the day, we always say economics is warfare, and right now you have picked a side. Yes. Whether you know it or not. The way the world works, you have to pick a side when it comes to economics. You can't just think there's me and I exist in isolation and what I do with my money doesn't matter, because first of all, you pay taxes. The IMF and World Bank are primarily financed by the US, Europe, the UK, and a bit of China and a little inch of Russia.
Yes.
And their policies are dictated by what the finance ministers of these major economies want.
Yes.
Because they're the ones who give IMF and World Bank money.
Of course. Nothing comes free.
Yeah. So we have to accept. And that's one equation. So you're paying your taxes.
Yes.
This is what they are using your taxes for.
Yeah.
You are also banking in US banks, UK banks. What do you think they're doing with your money? International capital doesn't stay still. Your money is not sat in a cozy account there just waiting for you. No. Yeah. Your money is traveling to China today. Tomorrow it's in South America. And you don't dictate. At least if your money was in a local institution here, the money is going to stay here.
And that's it for today. Thanks to AG for a great session. And to you, our cherished viewers and listeners, Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And do grab yourself a copy of our book, The Great Return, which is on Amazon. And if you're thinking of doing business or investing in Ghana, then get in touch by visiting our website, tgrafrica.com, where you can book a consultation for business advice, guidance, and many more. And also where you can check out all the other great stuff we are doing and see how you can get involved. See you in the next episode. Thank you.